what's up? My name is Ryan. I'm an ICU nurse, I'm an ER nurse, and I'm a travel nurse, and I'm gonna vlog today and show you guys how I sort through different travel contracts. First things first, let me get ready for the day so I can get into some of this internet business. I really honestly do feel like getting dressed, looking nice, putting in my contacts gets me ready to sit down and be serious about picking a travel contract, applying for travel contracts, getting all my documents in order, etc. So let's do that. Okay, so first things first, I like to make a list of what is really important to me in an upcoming contract, and I typically do that on my iPad on the GoodNotes app, just because for me, writing is really important. So this is just my GoodNotes app, and I will use my Apple Pen to write out what is important for me to have in upcoming contracts. For me, the important part about this contract is actually looking at the length of contract, because I'm applying for a permanent position, but the hiring process for that position takes 4 months. So for me, the contract has to be 13 weeks or less. Second, I want to look at location. I would really like to stay close to my area, but I'm not 100% sure how realistic that goal is. Prefer to stay within 75 miles. Now let's talk about pay. Realistically, I do not want to go work at the bedside for less than a certain dollar amount any longer. For me, for a local contract, I would have to be making $3,000 a week on 36 hours. For a long distance contract, I would have to be making probably closer to $4,500. When I look at what my goal is for a long distance contract, I do it keeping in mind that I will have to pay for room and board somewhere as well as transportation. So of course, the farther away from my home that I get, the higher up that number is going to have to be, but it's going to have to be around $4,500 if it's more than 100 miles away. Also, realistically, because it's the end of the year and it's the holidays, I'm going to go ahead and change the start date to the 9th of January as well, just because I know realistically I'm probably not going to be able to get onboarded and started somewhere by the 1st of January. I'm a little bit behind the ball on that, but again, I'm okay with that, and it still works out within my time frame to start on the 9th of January as well as on the 1st of January. Something else that you can write in your contract goals is what kind of unit you want to be on. I would love to go back to a MICU, a small adult only ER, or a rural ER. I prefer community hospitals because that's where I've done most of my practicing, so I prefer to work in a community hospital. Some people prefer to stay at university hospitals, some people like magnet hospitals, they like teaching hospitals. It really just depends on what you want. I feel most comfortable in community hospitals. That's the level of resources that I'm comfortable with. So I typically try and go to a community hospital just because I know that that's where I will work best. So now that I have some of my goals defined about what I would want in a contract coming up this January, I am going to get all my documents together so that I can go ahead and reach out to a recruiter. So it is just now 9 o'clock. That's a good time to kind of start organizing all this travel nurse contract stuff. Alright, I went and I got a water and I ate a little breakfast. Now I'm going to make sure that all of my documentation is up to date in my Google Drive. If you don't know about the Google Drive, my friend Anna, SRNA, really put me on to keeping all of my important nursing documentation in a Google Drive. Almost everybody I know uses a Gmail account, and using Gmail you have access to a free Google Drive, which is just an online collection of files that you can access from pretty much anywhere that you can log into Google. This is honestly just a really great way to keep up with all of your certifications and make sure that you have them handy to email to a recruiter whenever they reach out to you, because a lot of contract work is very time sensitive. You have to make sure that you get your documents in on time so that they can submit you to a job before everybody gets submitted to the job. So it's really important that you have those documents readily available and you can get to them as fast as possible. So at the top corner of your Google account, you will go to Google and then you will go down to Drive. And then you can see that you are in your Google Drive. So what I suggest you do is to go over to new and go to new folder. Document, I just call my Google Drive nursing documents, and inside of it I have pretty much everything I could need for all of that. I already have uploaded my ACLS, BLS, PALS. I do have my NIH is out of date. I think it goes out of date at the beginning of January. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. A lot of places will pay for you to do that, but it's only $10 on the American Heart Association. So I'm going to go ahead and redo that, recertify for that one. I do have a copy of my resume in there, as well as all of my most recent vaccinations and my nursing license. And any kind of lab work that I've had done from a travel contract, like a titer or something within the past 2 years, I do keep a copy of it here within my Google Drive. I'm gonna move into the living room for this portion of the vlog because quite frankly, it's snowing outside and it's absolutely gorgeous. A couple of things about recruiters. Be aware of how many recruiters you're talking to, simply because it can be very overwhelming to talk to more than 1 or 2 or 3 recruiters at the same time. Also be aware to make sure that you are not submitting to the same position with multiple agencies, because a lot of times that will actually disqualify you by the hospital. If you're submitted by several different agencies for the same position, they'll automatically disqualify you. As far as specific agency recommendations, I don't have any. I do really like the Vivian app simply because it compiles every agency's highest rate for certain jobs and they offer those to you. And so I like being able to see what the highest paying contract in certain places is. Once you start reaching out to recruiters, be prepared for recruiters to start calling you. They will start calling you and texting you and reaching out at all hours of the day. However, I find that the best time to actually work with recruiters is normal business hours, like 8 to 5 every day, depending on what time zone you're in. Sometimes they're on the West Coast, sometimes they're on the East Coast. I'm in Central Time, so I usually, anywhere from like 7 a.m. in the morning to like 6 p.m. at night, 7 p.m. at night, I know is probably an okay time to reach out to a recruiter. This video is not at all sponsored by Vivian. I've never worked with Vivian. I'm just giving you my honest opinion about them. So honestly, I do a lot of my recruiter outreach just sitting here on my couch. I just sit here on my couch and I get on my phone and I'll go to the Vivian app. So what I will do is, if I find a contract that I think looks good, that I think looks like something that will match all the stuff that I want, is I will click on it on the Vivian app and reach out. Again, I try and keep within certain recruiters like what I want. I started the Vivian app just to look and see kind of what the rates are doing across the country, but I do have a few recruiters with a few companies, probably about 3 that I personally speak with. So I am going to go ahead and send them out a text saying, hey, I'm interested in looking for my next contract. This is what I'm looking for. This is where I'd like to stay around. This is what my license is, my qualifications, all of my certificates are, my experience. What do you have that might be interesting for me? Typically, they'll call me back today and we can talk on the phone about some of those options. Sometimes it might take a while, especially since this week is a holiday week, but I don't know, we'll just kind of see and hang out from there. But that's pretty much how I start looking for travel nurse jobs. First, I get very clear about what I want in a travel nurse contract, what's important to me to have. Then I get all of my documents ready so that I can be submitted quickly to a job. And finally, I reach out to different recruiters as well as check out the market with my Vivian app. So that is pretty much it. I am going to finish up some things I have to do around the house today while I wait to see what recruiters are going to reach back out to me. I did go ahead and reach out to 2 of my recruiters, as well as put in for a job at Vivian that I found that I liked, that I thought was good looking. And we'll kind of see where things go from there. If you guys like this kind of content, be sure to let me know down below. I would love to keep making content like this for you guys, kind of just about my daily life, as well as what it really looks like to be a travel nurse and what it really looks like to pick my next contract. As I get contract offers in, I would love to share those with you guys and share, just general details about them and why I pick certain contracts over the other. But because I didn't get really any offers yet today, and I probably won't today just because, like I said, it's the holiday, I can't really go over that with you guys, but if that sounds like something you're interested in, let me know down below. Be sure to follow me on TikTok as well as Instagram. It is the same handle. And be sure to subscribe down below if you like this kind of YouTube content. My name is Ryan. I hope you all have a wonderful end of 2022, and I'll see y'all in 2023.